Strong business. Thank you. If you need the name again, I'll give it to you.
Good evening, everyone. So everybody got a seat? Everybody sitting down, got a seat? You got a seat, my dear? Everybody file in and welcome. Welcome to the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws right here in Arizona. Thanks for showing up, you guys. You are here at an organization that took 44 years to mission. In America, it's been around since 1970. And Norml has been there for community and education for people who felt alienated, they felt alone, they didn't know if anybody else understood them. Well, they could find a Norml meeting. And now we can find it in the United States in almost every city. Well, I'm sorry, every state and all around the world. We can find community and education. The mission of Norml is to move public opinion sufficiently to legalize the responsible use of marijuana by adults and to serve as an advocate for consumers to assure they have access to high-quality marijuana that is safe, convenient, and affordable. Norml in Arizona's mission is to break stereotypes and change hearts and minds about cannabis for the health and safety of all Arizonans. My name is Kathy Inman. I am currently the state director here at the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws in Arizona. Why I came here, why I decided to do this. 6 years ago, I took a look at what was happening and I realized there is an injustice. We've got children in high schools that are binge drinking, they're taking pharmaceuticals. I knew that there was some safer alternative. Then I looked at adults and I saw how many pharmaceuticals they were taking. I thought, you know what, there's a safer alternative. So the more we've learned, the more we know. And we're spreading that word. We are celebrating 6 years of reform in Phoenix. And it's pretty good, yeah. 6 years of reform. This month, 6 years ago, the gentleman on my right was with me while we had a voter registration drive and we floated down the river. And he remembers it. At that time, I was apprehended for having 5 cookies and I faced a federal... because we had a Norml group, because we were a Norml group and we were in the spotlight because of it. For the first time Warren's ever been pulled over on an inner tube, and myself as well. We were pulled over by a SWAT team on the Salt River 6 years ago. We were celebrating quite an anniversary this month. I was facing a year in federal prison, and I ended up just paying $1,000 to the feds for their extortion fees. So I got out of jail, but I had to pay $1,000, and that's why we're here, you guys, you know? We're not experts. This is our think tank. We're sitting here thinking up things to do, how we can fight back, how we can speak out for the people against these unjust laws. We're basically a local referral program propelled by Washington, D.C., our national hub there in Washington, D.C., Norml. Many people I know say they met every friend they know in a Norml group, and I hope that you guys will meet folks too, because it's just one of those places, Norml, community and education, again. Let's see, we've got, what else we got here? Well, introduce the guy next to this guy? Well, I don't want to really go all the way down to his first name, okay? First name? Is that good enough? Warren, next to me, has been with us since the very beginning and actually helped start up the very first Phoenix Norml 6 years ago. And he and I have been through some trials and tribulations. Give a hand to this gentleman for putting in. Because 6 years ago it wasn't as easy as it is right now. Those of you who are with us, Jerry and Sue were there. Chuck was there in the 90s. You guys know how, it was pretty darn scary coming out 6 years ago. And I'm proud of Warren for doing that. I hope he's proud of me. We're all doing what we can in this movement. We all do what we can, and we just keep starting those conversations, because the more we have in the last few years, what's happened? This has just blossomed. People can't believe how quickly this has blossomed in 2 years. Partially due to some gray areas, I think, that we sustained in Arizona. We've seen a lot more freedom than we were actually coming into this for. We're going to talk about freedom and legalization and all that good stuff later. But right now I'd like to do an officer's report of anyone who's here who's an officer. I know I have one right here that I would like to actually engage later in our old business. But would you like to just introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. Darren Babin, have been a part of Norml now since, let's say, February. Lots of fun. It's been a roller coaster. I can definitely attest to the fact that I can't imagine what kind of roller coaster Kathy's been on for the last 6 years, because from what I've seen, since February, it is definitely a ride. But I'm definitely glad to be here.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Who else do we have? We have a lady here next to you, who's sitting here. What would you like to contribute tonight? Anything, my dear?
No, I'm just thankful that all of you are here with us today. My name is Karina. I'm volunteer coordinator. And that's about it.
Karina's new to our board. She just got elected in February or March when we did the last elections. And Karina has been extremely active. She's been participating, checking in, doing everything she can to get her job done. Thank you, Karina. Thank you very much. Karina also helped me bump into Sheriff Joe a few months ago, prior to her election, and was the one who encouraged me to go up and maybe we should get a picture, she says. And then out of my mouth said, hey, Joe, can I have a minute with you? And then it was just like, hey, what about the kids that are dying 10 a month from pharmaceuticals? And then, the rest was history. It was really, it was pretty awesome because that one-liner got him to dig in his pocket and say, sure, give me a call. And I spent 3 hours with Sheriff Joe, for anybody that doesn't know. It was pretty awesome. I don't agree with all his policies, but I will say that I think he's starting to understand about medical marijuana. I think he's always understood about it, but from the 3 hours and the copy of The Emperor Wears No Clothes that I sent to him from Jack Herrera, I'd like to hope he's gotten a little bit more of an education. Also a Norml shirt.
I'd like to see him in that.
Yeah, I would love to see him in that. If he would just take his picture and tweet that one.
Maybe jointly.
Yeah.
Or leave. Sorry.
Let's see. We also have, I see Peoria's in the house tonight. Do you guys have anything to say, to report? Would you like to chime in?
Not
Anything
much,
new
other
in
than-
Peoria?
Other than we heard, I don't know if it's rumor or not, that the feds wanted to leave the state alone now.
That is, well, what they're ordered to do is not interfere
Right.
with
That's
medical
right.
marijuana. Yes, basically, in Warren.
It has to be passed
By the Senate.
Obviously has to be passed by the Senate too. We're in the same exact situation with that as we were with the medical funding here in Arizona. So we just hope that this one gets to the right committee when it gets to the Senate federally, because that's going to be really important. And I don't see anyone federally letting that go without a vote like they did in Arizona. I don't see that being allowed.
We're still looking for more.
It's pretty exciting.
It's work in progress. We don't have a- It's just very nice.
Well, Jerry and Sue are our hippie couple that are operating their Norml and Peoria meetings. It's a fun roundtable meeting, and our information is on your. If you guys didn't get one, we have agendas. They're around. We have them up at the bar too, and I can send you out one if you put your hand up. On there, you'll see where they're having their meetings, and that's next Tuesday. And we'll go over meetings in a little while. Let's see who else is here. That's on the. There's Nick. Nick. What do you have to report, sir?
I have one of my friends supposedly I'm very trying his belief is to see that everyone's going to be in there, so in 2016, 2014 November, they will vote on it. So vote on me, focus is later, get change about the beneficent.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. Nick is back there with his, now, Nick, your friend, Pugsley, it's not Pugsley.
It's Pugsley.
Just say Pugsley, that's okay? Okay, Nick and Pugsley are, hello, Richard, good
Hi.
to see you, welcome. Anybody have a spot for Richard? We can squeeze him in, there's a nice big chair back there, well, like, come on in.
Thank you.
So you got the easy chair if you want.
So, we're just talking about the fellas in Mesa, but Mesa, you guys will be visiting with the folks in Chandler. I'm hoping maybe you can do a little bit of super East Valley super group out there, maybe while you're forming, and then you can take on new board members as they come. We can work that out. Hey, the more hands, the merrier. Right, yes, thank you. And thank you, Nick. Nick Rupert's back there. He's reaching out in Mesa with Huxley. And give it up for these two for reaching out in Mesa. Moving on to the lovely lady next to Nick. Hello. Would you like to come up and talk, or do you want to sit it out? Whatever you want.
Can you guys hear me?
Pretty much, yeah, just a little bit louder.
Stand. Well, I'm here. I'm filming with Robert and Kyle right now. So I'm in stand. Yeah. Kitchen channel. I'm actually working at the Heritage, which is a restaurant that works with a lot of other community organizations. They help rescuers. And they do events at their place. So we're going to be holding the meeting there last week again. And I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent, excellent. So any of you that didn't hear, Lovey is now, they're starting an outreach in Chandler. They're going to be working with the folks that were working with us in Gilbert. We'll be down there as often as we can, obviously, but Robert and Kyle and Gilbert will be working with Lovey in Chandler, and she's got a really neat place called The Perch, where they rescue birds, and we're all looking forward to going down to see that because it looks like a really neat venue.
Really good food and a lot of craft beer.
Yes, that's Chandler and Nick's. They're kind of exploring Main Street in Mesa and kind of a couple different places. Hi, Ron. Good to see you, brother.
Are we talking about bird sanctuary?
Yeah, it's a restaurant. And they also have
Is that the Perch? Is that on Dry Road?
Right, it's just north of Dry Road.
Yeah, on Arizona Avenue. It's right next to that computer keep place. Yeah, okay, I know where it's at. I used to work right next to it.
Excellent. So those guys are all 20-somethings, correct? 20-somethings, all. And we'll be reaching out to our youth there in Chandler, which will be nice. And Nick as well, I hope. Yeah. He'll do what he can and when he can. So I'm just glad that you guys are doing this. What's that, Carol?
Does that mean that old fogies aren't invited?
Not at all, but it will be nice to have, well, because Dave and I have been reaching out to Gilbert, and it's been nice, but we've gotten pretty much, our 30 and 40-something folks. It'll be nice to see some of the 20-somethings coming in. And, that's the neat thing about having lots of different people reaching out to as Norml in this organization, because we get a lot of different feedback, a lot of different folks. So thank you all. Is there any guests, Nick?
Saying marketing is saying this to market towards the youth, because you're always going to get the elderly people, but you get older the youth out there that I can get to myself, give them messages, but like that for them.
Well, we're going to talk about speaking to two different audiences, and we'll address that when we get to that part of this, because that is absolutely perfect right there. Youth vote versus the old folks voting, reaching out to the old folks versus reaching out to the young folks. There's two different ways to be talking to these folks, so we're going to talk about that. Let's see, we got the officers report. Everyone chimed in that wants to. Old business. I would like to bring up for a moment Mr. Blackman. And why you're part of our old business, sir, is because the folks, Michael Blackman and his partner had invited me down to ASU Norml downtown to speak about Norml, and what I wanted to find out from Michael was what he learned about our organization as someone who's coming in new to this organization, what he thinks is important about Norml. So if you guys would all give a hand to Michael Blackman, he's going to give us a couple words.
Everyone, this is the second time I've been here. I didn't get a chance to talk. Actually, I told you last time. I don't know anybody. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't make you talk either last time.
You did. She forced me this time. I know right off the top of my head exactly what I'm going to say about what's the most important thing, and Nick highlighted it just a moment ago, and I think about it all the time, and that's swaying public perception. I'm just finishing up my master's degree in social work, and I was focusing on social change and advocacy and the policy process and all these things. And of course, we have to remember that the number one most important place where change happens is in the public perception. And that's the core of Norml's mission, which is what sort of drew me in and, very quickly. It is one of the bigger names, of course, you guys have here, one of the biggest names there is for advocacy for this medicine and this plant for our civil liberties. But also, it's the mission. I really believe that, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are always, and me included, hopefully, focusing on that as the primary mission. If nothing else more important. Maybe I could add something that I remind myself about all the time, which is, we come to these meetings and maybe we go to a protest and we hold a sign and we put on our activist hats for that moment, and then we go home, or say we go clock in at work and we stop being an activist. And that's not having sway public perception. This has to be brought into the daily vocabulary, and it isn't brought into the daily vocabulary unless it's brought into the daily discussion. So myself, I'm employed at a place where I could be fired for smoking marijuana. And I got my state medical card because of some neurological problems I'm having. It's another whole story. I'm a combat veteran. And I tell people, I got my card. I use this medicine, this is what it's done for me. I've taken that risk. I'm taking it with management. I'm taking it with people I don't know how they're going to respond. Because you have to really make that step. You might know somebody, like we all are like-minded here. We don't have to convince each other of this. But maybe we know some people, a friend's parent, somebody that doesn't know and needs to be educated. Every single opportunity, every day, so just taking that step and taking the risk, not caring what people think about you, because the reason we're doing this is to change the negative stigma. That's why I'm really glad to be here with Norml, because everywhere I look and everything I hear, that's what you guys are dedicated to. Number one, so I'm really glad to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Michael, for having me down to ASU Norml, and I do hope that you, like you said, maybe.
Let me just say, by the way,
never know.
Kathy came down and kicked ass down there, because it's a room full of graduate level students at the end of this course, and she's coming in here representing and got grilled with questions and just killed it. Everybody was impressed, and so this is the right direction, and we got plenty of ammunition and plenty of support. Nice job on that.
I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate it. And what I was trying to get at is, I hope you do explore, the possibilities of more speaking out, publicly as you can and as you feel comfortable doing. As the more, just starting those private conversations, I say that all the time. I'm so glad you said that. It's so important because that's something we can do without worrying. We don't have to put our name on anything. We don't have to be a member of anything. We don't have to give any money. Just start a conversation. You're a decent person. People will see that. Start a conversation about cannabis. 9 times out of 10, people are going to go, I started a new bank account. I got away from the big conglomerate, and I went to a private local bank, and I feel really good about it. Finally, after, 10 years, they've been telling us to do this. When I did, I was signing up for said bank account, and they asked me where I work. I work at a dispensary. So I was able to slide her my card, and she just looked at me, and she said, oh my gosh, that's so great. And this was a woman that I never would have ventured to guess that she would have said, oh my gosh, it's so great. And they just, it's so wonderful. And after just a few short years that we can be in this place to where we can start a conversation. I braced for it. And she said, you don't have to feel bad, And I said, I still brace for it because I wonder if somebody is going to be bristled by me saying that I work at a medical marijuana dispensary or even a medical cannabis dispensary. They don't know what I'm talking about. They said cannabis, But at least they're asking a question. Starting those conversations privately is beautiful, Michael, and we would love to see you do as much as you're comfortable. Thank you. Thank you again. And thank you for your service to our country, everyone. Okay, officers report. covered over old business. Anybody interested in what happened with Recall Ye? Yes, everybody wants to know. We have the expert sitting next to me, Darren Babin. This fellow is our media fellow for Norml, and he has done an amazing job. He has devoted time, energy, frustration, and money was the big one, because this guy actually donated, basically, because Norml is, we are not cash long right now, as many of you know. He donated our last press releases, which aren't cheap, you guys. Darren, thank you for the good work you do, for the good work that you've done out there, and please wrap up this. Give a big round of applause for this guy.
So, the Recall Ye thing, obviously, we had our challenges with this, and I think everybody's aware that that was a bit of a roller coaster. As we were sitting here during our last meeting, we were encountering some additional changes that put us into a strategy session that had us looking at a clock and had us looking at volunteers that we could muster, and had us also looking at what we could really do to impact Kimberly Ye in the media, because as Michael said, the biggest point of advocacy really is to sway public perception. And obviously, being out in front of this in the media and forcing them to show their hand was really something that we wanted to do. And Tom came up with a great idea that basically had us taking all of our conversations that we had with Kimberly Ye's attorney, which, if anyone is watching this publicly, all of our conversations that we had with Kimberly Ye's attorney, and these conversations were ones that we had in good faith, and they were conversations of negotiation that they agreed to working with us and towards legislation, and we were told by their office that they were building a bipartisan coalition to get the funding and to get a bill into the 2015 session. Knowing that while they had prepared a 5-paragraph statement to the affirmative that would show the public that they were going to work with us, a public statement that was read to our committee, the supposition was that this was one giant ruse and a giant lie, and that they would, in fact, come out with a statement that would not be in support. And that's exactly what happened. However, what they did not expect was the fact that we prepared a press release that stated that we had already come to an agreement, which we had. And by the time I sent the email to Senator Ye's attorney saying that we were very happy that they were going to issue the statement that she was going to work with us, and attached a copy of the press release to it, people in the Philippines had already read it, right? So they had no choice but to spend the next, I want to say, 6 hours before I got a reply, and it was a very harsh, we tacitly disagree with your statements. You guys should go and hire a professional lobbyist to get your bills passed. And then he put out a statement to the local media, which they did not release live to the press. They only released it locally. And we had already been on the phones to all the media locally, and there were people, I can't remember the gentleman who was on the desk for CBS locally. If he happens to see this, thank you very much. He also is a combat veteran, and I got a copy of Yee's statement sent from him, but that got buried at CBS. No one saw that, and so I'm very confident that when people saw what they were putting out, if anyone saw the Arizona Capital Times story, Ben Giles, I have to give big props to Ben. The story that he put out was absolutely down the wire, fantastic, and what he wrote was spectacular. And in talking to Sue Sicily, I spent an hour on the phone with her yesterday. She told me that her conversations and her perception of what she saw from Mike and heard was that it completely our strategy and how we took the press that day completely had him off guard. They did not expect that, and basically I think that kind of tells them you've underestimated Norml as we are now, and the tone of advocacy with Norml here in Arizona has changed, and I would expect much more of that for the lawmakers locally. And when we were asked, what is the Arizona Veterans Committee, Assistance Committee going to do now? What's our purpose? And I said very simple. Our purpose is not to get off of Yee's back. There's still a strategy in place to impact Yee, Mike Liberty, and their lives. And we have very, very big lives, and there is a strategy there. And so
Documented.
it is documented. So yes, our goal is to, as I told Ben, we're gonna get behind, what is either is it Patricia or Justin Henry?
Well, I would
Yeah.
like, depending on how things go and depending on what your leaning is, politically, but it looks like Justin is the best replacement because District 20 is kind of leaves Republican.
Yep.
So we are pushing Justin Henry because you know what, we get it from every way we can.
Absolutely. So that's kind of where it is right now. I think it wasn't what a lot of people hoped. That we were going to smash her right out of office. But if you knew what was going on, she wasn't going to get recalled before the general election anyway. This was always about exposing her for what she is. And I think we definitely have exposed the fact that this woman, be it that she represents education, I can't imagine that I would ever want her representing education in the state or anywhere else, because she, in her office, has lied, and to all the veterans of the state, it's truly disgusting.
Well, and kept democracy from happening.
Absolutely.
In the House, in the Senate there in Arizona.
Absolutely.
So, and as an educator, she should want education.
Absolutely.
You don't block education or funding from it. Funding that didn't come from the state. Funding that came from our own programs. So yeah, I think we did a great job as Norml. I am super proud of what we did. I'm glad to see Norml's name on the map in our state, and that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And I'm darned excited. And I'd like to give it up to this fellow who really put our name on the map. We had an awesome committee, but Darren wrapped it up at the end with the situation that you heard that we had. Between Tom's good sense to come up with a couple of ideas, really. He came up with the recall. Tom Dean, our Norml attorney, came up with the recall at our workshop in March, and we just said, heck yeah, this sounds great. She wants to use her political option, we'll use ours as Norml. And now everybody at the State House knows that you want to use a political option against cannabis, guess what? there is a Norml organization that will fire back when we are here, and I'm proud, and I get goosebumps when I think about it. Thank you, Darren, for helping.
Yeah, thank you.
So that is the Recall Ye wrap-up. Voter guide, another big impact we can make here in Arizona is letting people know who the heck to vote for. I would like to have it so that we know not only the regular candidates that are on the ballot, but also the judges.
Yeah.
That will be very difficult. However, when you have people who are deciding your fate, who are deciding the fate of your friends in Arizona, these people must be cannabis friendly in some way, shape, or at least cannabis open. So I'm going to try to be delving into the what comes of, I'm sorry, now I'm losing the word, the verdicts of these cases, of some of these cases of the judges that are on the ballot, because 9 times out of 10, I don't know about you guys, but I feel really bad that I end up just keeping these guys in because I don't know who the heck they are. So I'm like, well, how bad can he be? And I'm going down the line. And then I think, oh, I'll vote them all out. Here, let's change everybody. Like, pick a, exactly, or a name recognition. Let's know who these guys are. You know, and I've been kind of talking about it for a while this summer. That's what I'm focusing on. We're dividing up jobs for Norml. I'm focusing on this voter guide. Anybody that wants to help me I'm trying to form a voter guide committee so that we can be researching these things, because I can't do it alone. I can do it alone, but it's going to take me an awful lot of time. So anyone who wants to think about doing that, you can email me, Kathy@normlinarizona.org, or you can see me after the meeting. Let's see. Mr. Blackman, we got you up. Thank you so much. I'm just going over my notes. New business. AZDHS is accepting new qualifying conditions. July 1st to 9th. So please start getting your petitions ready to submit to AZDHS. Any of you guys who haven't been to the AZDHS website, do go. It is another wealth of information like Norml.org. It's crazy in there. There's more information now that I'm a patient. Now that I'm a legal patient in Arizona, I get these updates, and I think, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff I've been missing out on. They actually do upload you with quite a bit of really great information. AZDHS. I'm embarrassed to say I'm just finding it, but that's, you know, I haven't had a qualifying condition, but I realized that I had a car accident 3 years ago, and that was okay. And you know what? Now I'm a legal patient in Arizona. And that's fine with me because I'm protected like 40,000 plus other people in Arizona. And when that card came in the mail, I've never felt more liberated. So please, if you haven't gotten your card, do think about doing it. I know it's expensive, and we've got to fire back about that. Hopefully in a couple of years we won't have to deal with it. Somebody had their hand up. Yes, sir.
Kevin, my understanding was the DAS thing on new conditions was a sham, and that Bill Hummel was going to say any new condition, unless it's approved by the DEA with qualifying evidence, is not going to be accepted. We know that the DEA will not let anybody do medical research on any subject that proves marijuana is healthy.
Well, the cool thing is that we are getting medical research. Colorado just got approved for $10 million for medical research. We also got it passed through the House that they're not going to block our medical marijuana states. Progress is happening, so it's a good thing. Will Humble is on our side, you guys. I mean, some of you guys might think Will Humble is just out there or something. From what I hear, Will Humble, who knows, he could be the campaign manager for the next legalization thing. Will Humble is on our side. He's a friend. He is in a difficult political position. He's doing his job, but I believe that he understands. And why? Because he's seen enough, like we have over the last few years. He's seen enough that he is definitely, his mind is open. I believe that. So historic progress all around. We got how many tons? 300 pounds of hemp seed delivered to Kentucky, you guys? I mean, look what's happening. This is just, it's outrageous. It's outrageous in a good way, finally. Here we are. Anybody time check? Where are we at? Quarter till? Okay, big one. Preparing for legalization. It's pretty important. We got, do we have options? I don't know. We had an option this year. A lot of people chose to work hard. I did. I worked for a couple months on our option that was coming up this year. I think most of us know that we're at about, is it 14,000 signatures? that they ended up getting, and they needed 250,000 signatures. So legalization is not going to happen this year for anybody that doesn't know yet, because I still have people asking me if legalization is happening in Arizona. It will not be on the ballot. I'm sorry. I would have loved to see it on the ballot. I'm disappointed that it didn't get on the ballot. Quite honestly, a year ago, I thought maybe we could do this. I honestly did. You know why? Because if 420 people in Arizona, the whole state of Arizona, got off their bottom and got 1,000 signatures, we could have legalized Arizona this year, you guys. So we should all be disappointed. We should all feel a little bad that we didn't do more. But we need to move on. It's time to move on. What's that, Nick?
So yes to, I missed that.
It's Huxley, did you hear what he said? Because we're sitting here, we got these background noise. What's that?
He was apologizing for speaking out of turn.
For speaking out of turn? You can speak out of turn, it's okay.
I just don't listen.
We just like when you're here. Let's just put it that way. Thanks for being here.
I love Norml.
Yeah. And Nick got out there with me and collected signatures for Recall Youth. And he worked hard. And this little lady, the Norml Peoria folks back there, we all got out there and we gave up our Saturday. We gave up our time. Some of us gave up some money. This guy gave up a lot of money. We've got Jesse Lopez in Tucson gave us $500 for this project. Thanks, Jesse, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse. We gave as much of ourselves as we could today. And the result, thanks to Tom, his great idea and his great wrap-up. I'm just really, really proud of the result and proud of the way we worked together. Quite honestly, we had some ups and downs, Even Darren and I had a little something here and there. But we worked through it, and we did really good. And we were, I thought, very professional, and we did a great job. Legalization. Supposedly, we hear from the Marijuana Policy Project that we are part of a 6 to 10 state conglomerate of legalization. I've been checking the boards to see if this is coming. From everything I can understand, I talked to the people in Washington. This is coming. Fully funded. Fully funded, happening. My whole project, just like this summer, I'm going to be all about the voter guide. I'm all about getting Arizona to vote the next couple of years. It's all about voting. We won by over 4,000 votes. That's nothing. That's why they've been picking at us. We had no mandate, you guys. So that's why you'll hear me talk about voting all the time. Thinking up interesting new ways to get people excited to vote, because there's nothing more boring than listening to people say, you gotta vote, let's get out the vote. Nobody wants to hear it. So get your thinking caps on, guys. We gotta get, and again, we're speaking to two different audiences here in our community. We're speaking to those, like Michael said, who aren't sold yet. They're not sold yet. They don't know anything about marijuana. So we're calling it cannabis. We're putting our leaf away because we don't want to scare them. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are the ones we want to educate. We want to treat them tenderly. Yes, the other part of our community is the ones of us that just we know about marijuana. We love marijuana. We use marijuana. We eat marijuana. We would love to take a bath in marijuana. There are tons
Never
of
put
us.
the leaf away. Stand up for the leaf.
No, that's seeing Norml it has something different to every person. Normal could mean normal, like looking normal like the rest of society. And that's kind of the way I've been taking it the last couple of years. That doesn't cover everybody in Norml, and I know that, because there's this other side of me, 420 side that waves the Rasta flag, and I love it, because that is also a big part of me too. And that is the part that I started into this with. Over the years, I've learned that there are times I need to put my flag down. So I'm willing to put my flag down. Am I asking all of you to put your flag down and to not wave the leaf? No, I'm not. But if you're trying to win over those who don't understand yet, that's the only time that really I'm trying to tell you that this is the time we need to go easy. We need to look normal, like the mainstream. Otherwise, you know, you want to let your free flag fly. Guess what? We got a great meeting for it. 2 weeks from tonight at the Law School. That's going to be the regular Phoenix venue. We're going to bring in a band every month that's playing for the cause. That's actually playing just for tips because they want to play for Norml. Norml is about being a community and bringing everybody's talents together, not about anything and not beholden to anything else except for the rest of us coming together to get something done. So that's what these bands will be playing for, just 20% tips. So if you know any bands that are like that would like to give to the cause and be a part of the community at the Lost League once a month, what are we doing? Third Tuesday. On the second Tuesday, they have live painting down there. But don't go there. Go to Peoria. So 2 audiences. Pick your audience. If you guys can go between both, like I like to, do that. Let's just try and keep one audience. Let's just try and keep the audience, so that we bring in more folks. Yes, sir.
I want to work at the Slightly Stupid concert.
The Slightly Stupid concert is coming next month. Speaking of talking to our fun friends and bringing those folks in, those are the folks that need to vote. Now, our regular, would you like to, hold on one second, let me finish this up. We are doing Slightly Stupid, you guys, and Slightly Stupid is class that has been absolutely wonderful to run. Every single year of the 6 years that I've been doing this, they call us up, they say, send however 2 or 4 people, however many they can afford that year, down to the concert, set up a table for free. We just want Norml to be there. Nick's working with us.
We'll take you next year.
Yeah, there you go, see? And, it's fun, and we had a great time, and we speak to our crowd, and what do we tell those folks? We tell them to come into a meeting and to vote. The other folks, we tell about how great it could be to get off their pharmaceuticals. The ones that don't understand yet anymore, or yet, not anymore. We want them to understand. You tell them about how that, if you're taking any pharmaceuticals, 9 out of 10 somebody is, if you're talking to somebody. Like almost everybody. And it's true. And so, yeah, what?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, exactly. What was your question, sir? I'm sorry. I'll keep going.
But I should be there.
Yeah, yes, you should. You absolutely should. We're going to have a heck of a good time. Yeah, Slightly Stupid, you guys. Come down. That's in July at the Mesa Amphitheater. And these guys are all Mesa
next
people,
door.
too. Yeah, it's right
You
next to
walk
you guys.
there.
Yeah, I thought of all 3 of you.
Or really stupid.
See, and then having people in every area when a concert comes up, like, that's their neighborhood. So it's great because they're reaching out to their friends in their own neighborhood. And then if something happens in Peoria, like the Recall Ye, those guys were there and ready to go. So we just keep building until we have people everywhere ready to do something everywhere. Let's see, 2015 director. Guess whose term is up in December? That's me. That's me. My term's up in December. It's up. Did that at the Gilbert meeting.
One and done again?
What's that?
One and done again?
What? Yeah,
One and done.
one and done?
Yeah, it's a term.
It's 2-year term. It was 3, but I had someone suggest to me last year that it might be nice if it was 2. And I thought, you know what? It might be nice if it was 2.
Can we do
And
that? I want to do
and
that.
that's okay with me.
You're gonna dance away.
I'm not going to dance away because I am always going to be a part of Norml. I'm always going to be a member. I'm always going to love Norml, and I'm always going to give a part of myself to this organization. Because that's what I've always wanted everyone else to do. Just give a part of yourself, and we can make a whole. So, I'll be at the women's outreach, as I've always been. And I will be pulling in the women via Mom Force. Mom Force is the name my husband chose to combat Mat Force. So we figured if we can get some mommies, some moms in heels walking around down at the Capitol like we did, and we got Joe. Women in business casual with heels, people don't know how to talk to them. It's hysterical. And it's not like I'm 20-something and I'm 36, 26, 36. It's just people and women, especially men. I'm sorry, you guys. But we are extremely effective because we're mothers, we're sisters, we're daughters. We're people that are tender to men's hearts. And when we talk to them, they understand us just that little bit more because of the moms and the grandmoms and the aunts and the sisters. And that's why when we wear business casual, they just go, gee, this is a nice young lady that knows about cannabis. Look at, she's all dressed up. She's obviously serious about this, and sometimes that's extremely effective. And that's what you've seen probably across the country. You've seen a lot of moms for Marijuana International. It's huge, but Cheryl Schumann's been on CNN and this and that. I don't overwork. What I know is that she's on CNN talking about cannabis. So how great is that? She did that before Gupta. So we can only hope they're getting out the right message, because I haven't seen what her message is. I don't know. Does anybody know about Cheryl Schumann?
She's on point, but she's been a little bit in trouble for
There's a lot of controversy.
She's controversial. Yeah, because she.
Well, then it's good that I said I don't know anything about her.
She's got great information, but you know, a lot of people don't. They're mad at her.
Too much. I heard something about money. You know, people get mad about money.
Well, because she just, represents a lot of companies out there that don't exist or that.
Well, and broke patients with cancer don't really need to hear about dinner parties with cannabis tasting and going in the limo.
Yeah, she claims to be the Martha Stewart, so.
Yeah, cannabis larger budget though.
So. Yeah, she calls herself that. So she's good. She's getting the message out there. So.
Yeah, you don't like her as a person.
I watched her vape on national news. Yeah. I mean, she was on national. She sat there and she vaped that.
See, to me, as somebody that doesn't know, I don't know much about her. I'm looking from the outside. I see a woman dressed nicely on CNN,
She
vaping.
had cancer. She's been saved by it. So yeah, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of people that don't like it. So
Well, it's like anything else, and Warren and I were here talking, and it's like I said, we've got some people that are like, Dave and I are in our 30s and 40s. These guys are in their 20s down there in Chandler. We've got people that are, in all different age groups, all different communities. This gal is, speaking to that choir. She's speaking to her choir, whoever's listening to her. But the fact is that people, the mainstream people, love people that are dressed up and on TV. They're dressed up and on TV, or people are like, oh my goodness, this person must know something. Well, I'm not getting on TV, but I will get dressed with Karina and walk down to the State House, because that's fun.
That was fun.
And we did get shared.
That was a blast.
And any ladies that want to come with us, I was on TV for a minute.
That was a great interview.
It was awful, but
no,
hey, we're here to help, remember? That's what it's all about. Healthcare, so we've got a healthcare project in the lurking over in Sun City. We're hoping to put that together. I'd also like to do one with my dispensary in Fountain Hills, so we can get old folks on each side of Phoenix. We get the Fountain Hills old folks and the, what's that?
Fountain Hills is getting a new dispensary.
They are?
Yeah, and I was like,
no.
Yeah, I was irritated because they're like the first. You are not the first.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have to turn it up a notch out Fountain Hills. Yeah, it'll be cute. Let's see, upcoming, so as far as we get back to the director thing, you guys, if you know anyone who would make an excellent director, an excellent state director, I want a better one than me next year. I see this guy next time. I'm kind of really leaning towards asking you to think about it, but I'm not even leaning towards asking you, I'm just asking you right now. But I honestly, it's a little bit of a big job and it's fun. What was that, you guys?
On YouTube, the pressure is on.
That's right, the pressure is on. But there's several good people in our community that I would like to hope that if we start talking about this in the next 6 months, by the time I'm out, that we will have lots of interest and lots of good folks stepping up for Norml. Let's see. Upcoming meetings, Norml and Peoria, Tuesday the 10th. You guys, information's on here. Our new venue, the Lost Leaf, is happening 2 weeks from tonight. That's our Fun Phoenix meeting at the Lost Leaf. Anybody not been to the Lost Leaf? Anybody? Lost Leaf's awesome. It's about 150 years old, and what they've done is they've converted that house into a bar. So, and they've got a little tiny stage area, so there'll be Hot Rock Super Joint is coming out. Hot Rock looks like the 80s just exploded in the room. And he sings the same way. He does rap, and he raps about marijuana. That's it. And he raps about it old school, and it's hysterical. and you'll love him. And he's very funny. The address of the Lost Leaf is not in my head, but where it is 5th Street, just south of Roosevelt. So you know where Roosevelt is, Chuck? 5th Street, right there by the Joe Bob Coffee House. It's right next door.
Next to Joe Bob.
And these guys are people, I think a couple of the owners, or at least one of the owners, it's rumored that they were in Norml in the 90s. I found that out a couple of years ago, so if that guy's still there, we're going to see him. But they have always been, I'll just say, friendly to the cause, and I'm really happy to be at the Lost Leaf because I think you guys are really going to like that venue. It's going to be a good time. Having a monthly place where we can ask bands to come and we know it's there and just ready and set up, it's going to be a really neat deal. We're going to be using that as kind of like a fundraiser because let's face it, I've never been a fundraiser. Ever. That's like the last thing on my list. And what we do need are more good heads for that. And I understand you have some ideas. You don't want to share that here, or do you want to? Okay, so he's full of ideas. Okay, that sounds good. So please join us to, what was that?
I want to hear this.
Yeah, no, so we'll be outside in a few minutes. Carol?
How is it a fundraiser?
It's a fundraiser because we are hoping to sell more T-shirts, do a raffle, do all that stuff.
In, or no?
You know, we can talk about that. I'd like to make it still free and open to the public and have it be some kind of, we're going to work something out.
Donation.
Yeah, we're going to work something out there. But we'll build on that. You know, because again, I'm not the big fundraiser, but there's so many ideas that we can use in a venue like that, like raffles, like
So even if
T-shirts.
it's fun, you can bring other people and really get.
Yes.
Oh,
Or
definitely. Yeah, no, this will be the place where people can meet people, they can hang out, it's gonna be, you know.
It's not like a lot of like housekeeping.
There's not a lot of housekeeping. This is the business meeting, that's gonna be more like a wrap-up of what this was. We'll do like a half an hour wrap-up of what the action is. Absolutely, absolutely, please do. But about a half an hour wrap up of business. We'll have flyers there so that we can, you know, reach out to more folks in the area, downtown, and it's just going to be a good time, a nice early good time, because the super joint will go on at 8. So, and the meeting is at 7. So we should be done by 9 and on our way home to go to work the next day, or on the way to do something else. Who knows what you guys do after work? Do whatever you need to do. Chandler, it's Tuesday the 24th. Tuesday the 24th, down at the Perch in Chandler, you guys. The information's here. Memberships. Look at these cards. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. These new cards. They got some little something on there. Put it on my purse. You can have one of these cards. The membership is $25, and it comes with a T-shirt. When you become a member, you also become a member of National Norml. So, hey, Lovey, if anybody wants to be a member tonight, can they come see you? All right. So go see Lovey if you'd like to be a member. And you can get your card next month, or even maybe 2 weeks from now. Warren sure waited long enough. Thanks, Warren. I was going to send it to him. On the back of your thing, as we wrap it up, you guys, get educated, take action, and vote. If you guys came into a Norml meeting thinking that, like Michael said, thank you, Michael, I used to say that at every single meeting, that this was the action, this isn't the action. The action is what you do when you leave here. This is the information getting. You're getting information, you're meeting nice people. This is the stuff to do when you go home tomorrow. You want to be an activist? Well, there's very easy ways to be an activist without ever getting your feet wet in the world of information. You can do things anonymously. There's a lot of great ideas on here. Let us know if there's anything that you're interested in, that you would like to do, any talents that you can contribute. Yes, sir? Yes, we do. And we are, actually, we have a weekend team, and we are getting together to meet about that. Let's talk about that after the show. I'm interested to see what you have to say. What's that, right here?
Oh, he was asking if we updated the website yet.
It's semi.
Okay.
We're just actually talking about it. Yes, but it does have the website. It has this meeting on it. At least there's that. But yes, we're working on having more people working on the website so that we can get more information out there. Let's see, donations. Uh-oh, here comes the basket, you guys. If you have $1 to spare for us to keep these wonderful, oh, you know what else I didn't send? I'm going to send this as well. Something interesting. As a voice for the people, you guys, we want to survey Arizona's dispensaries. We'd like to know. They're open 1 year next month. So, if you have a few minutes tonight, if you don't have a few minutes tonight, bring this with you to the next meeting and just drop it off. Through the month of June until, it's the anniversary month in July, we are surveying. You will see probably a Survey Monkey link come out so that we can just get some good feedback from you guys, because how are we going to be a voice of the people if we don't get your feedback? Here you are, sir.
And if you live on
And then pass the donation thing. And again, if you have $1 or $2 to spare, it would sure be awesome, you guys, just to pay for these printing and this and that. Yes, sir.
How do we get feedback on the people involved?
The feedback is the dispensary surveys that are coming around. For those of you that are patients in Arizona and you're able to frequent our Arizona dispensaries, we're looking for some feedback.
Okay, how about somebody that doesn't have a card?
If you don't have a card, then you don't need to worry about filling this one out. This is just for the dispensary. Oh, well, we've got tons of flyers, Richard, and bring some with you. Take them with you.
All right, did you ever hear of Meetup?
Meetup? Sure, absolutely. In fact, yeah, I thought many times too. There's been many times I've thought about hooking up a meetup, and that's one thing we have not done yet.
But I'm in New York, but in just a few years, we'll have 280 people.
It's a really
A lot of
good,
people on meetup.
efficacious way to get information around, for sure. And yes, thank you, Richard. We'll definitely consider that. Okay, anyway, I'm not getting the no, he just said it to me, so I said, she said no, that's Queen. Queen spoke. If you guys post it out, it would have nothing to do with me. Okay. As long as I don't do it. I never did it. All right, guys, I think that is about it. I believe we've got everything covered. Are there any questions out there tonight? Anyone? Questions? You certainly can. David, come on up.
I just want to comment what you said earlier about not everybody is normal to smoke marijuana. So, and I go out and I talk to people all the time. Like I'm always running out of normal flyers all the time. And hemp is a big thing. I mean, it's normal for us to wear clothes every day, right? When you go out. Yeah, hemp t-shirts, hemp clothing, all that stuff. I try to, people that don't use marijuana, I try to educate them about hemp. And the fact that just hemp alone can create jobs and change the economy around. I talked to them about like what Kentucky's been doing, things that are going on in Colorado. I just try to educate them all the time. They're not usually a cannabis smoker or a patient. I try to find some way that they can relate to. Maybe they got family members that are sick and that can use it. They don't use it themselves. Maybe they have cats and animals that can definitely benefit from it. Stuff like that. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I'd actually like to add something to what David just said, because it's actually a really important thing that he just said about hemp, which is, of course, not exactly the same plant, but again, in public perception, this is a related subject. And we're talking about swaying public perception, and when you want to talk about the mind of conservative opposition, if you have an agricultural program, a crop like hemp, it revitalizes the poor rural agricultural areas, the beating heart of America, essentially. And you can use that to boost the economy in these areas. That definitely changes the public perception of sort of the conservative American patriot. So excellent point, Dave. You mentioned Kentucky, they've got a program, there's a lot of good stuff going on. That's another thing that we should, educate people on.
What most of what a lot of people don't realize is last week when HR 499 was voted on and the House was actually debating, late into the night. Not only did they vote to block the DEA and to work towards the rescheduling and obviously advocate for marijuana patients, but they also voted in a vote for hemp. And what that also did was actually the chances for hemp getting through are actually greater, they say, than the bill for medical marijuana, because in Kentucky, Senator Mitch McConnell actually heads one of the committees over in the Senate. So when that rolls over to the Senate, that's a jobs issue. So when that rolls to the Senate, it stands to suit that the hemp bill would actually pass. So, albeit that these are two very different issues, the plan is the plan, and I think we're about to see some very big changes, and hemp, hemp may roll first, but I think they're both standing on deck, to get passed. So that was a very good point. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, Darren. Thank you all for your donations. Does anyone else have anything to say? Anyone else have anything to input tonight?
I love cannabis!
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out to Norml tonight, to Norml, Arizona. So glad you guys came out. Enjoy. If you'd like to become a member, go see Lovey. Anybody hasn't filled out the dispensary survey, please get one. Think about filling it out later if you don't want to fill it out now. Thanks for coming, everybody. Probably best that way. Probably better. I don't have to
right now?
I have an extra out there.
It's very good for your loyalty life.
Are you? Oh, yeah, I've never heard of it. Is it?
Hemp lotion.
I used to agree with Okay.
I get highlighted water.
Yeah. Take a picture. Looks like we're gonna get out early, maybe. Hi. No, you're not. Stressed out. When you get going, I usually, yeah, when I go, well, I just keep but yeah, I want to,
Anyway,
well, you know, I thought that's a great idea.
yeah.
Yes, I work at.
Well, I'm having because you said that.
Yeah. Oh, I work at a hotel on the weekends, and then I work for a social services agency during the week.
Okay, so it's the hotel. Oh, okay.
Most hotels are going to have a similar drug policy like that in there on the counts and legal, schedules and things. You get fired. Now with the parties now. Right. Which is hard to cannot, unlike California where you can say there's not respect. Here in Arizona, we're respected. I did it for that reason.
I think I might give it.
You did. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
Down the street, 7th Avenue.
Yeah.
I live on 12th.
Got it.
That area down there, I work in the neighborhood.